So, here we go. Well, I'm literally dusting off my mic. Welcome to BCNDC. Wasn't sure if I was going to record anymore. I keep saying that. But here I am. And why I'm doing video is mainly because I don't have the audio set up yet. Again. I let the subscription go with Libsyn, and I need to redo it. So I think I will. So I'll put the audio out. I don't know, as soon as I get that set up again. But as far as this video, I'll release it here as soon as I get it uploaded to YouTube, and I'll probably make a little snippet video saying I'm releasing this. So today is January 28th, 2021. Yeah, it's been a long time since I recorded, and a year ago today my son was still alive, and we had just put him to bed, and the next morning, well, started my new life without my son, as well as my wife and our daughter dealing with it as well. And I don't know, quick update where we all are at. The kid is doing pretty good. She's 9, so she's rebounded pretty well. Sorry, by the way, for coming in my work clothes, but it was a long day. So, yeah, I'm recording late at night. It's like 10:30. Anyway, well, it's not that late, but anywho, the wife and I, we're doing okay, I guess, as good as to be expected. It's still like a pretty much almost daily crying. I mean, there's every once in a while when you don't, but yeah, it's definitely a big change in it, and we're trying to do the best we can. So within that time, I'm sure I've updated you in the past, but I'll give a quick update. We sold this place, so I'm not sure how many more BCNDCs are going to come out of Bay's basement, and once we move, I'm not sure where I'm going to set it up in the new house. So the new house is in the process of being built, and I'm building it. We did contract through Highline, and but I'm going to do the framing and the roofing, and yeah, also all the flooring, cabinets, painting, yeah, that kind of stuff. Whatever, fixtures, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures. So quite a bit of stuff. So I'll build the majority of the house. But I just want to do things like I didn't do the foundation, which got poured last week. There's a good burp. So yeah, working on the underfloor right now. So it's going. I still have to take care of other jobs in between, but I'm trying to do the best I can with it. Anyway, that's enough of my babbling about that. The wife is taking on a new position, kind of an old position that she had like a decade ago. More middle management again. Yeah, so it's a good change for her. It keeps her busy, and it's a better fit than what she was doing before, which was a medical director type thing, and that really wasn't her fit. And anyway, this is more what she knows. And but on the personal side, I've said it to her, and I've said it to others. I hate the fact that she's joined my club, and not my club, the club that I'm in with a lot of you, and that is the club of the damaged. And people that just think differently, and but the thing of it is, I've noticed in her is that she's doing what I've been doing with it, is trying to help others with her pain. So like other people that are going through shit and feeling bad, she's able to talk about herself and her pain in order to give them the room to feel like they can as well. I think that's the thing, is like once you show vulnerability, it allows other people to talk about it, and that's kind of what this whole thing was supposed to be about, was letting anyone know that feels weird that, yeah, you may be weird, but at the same time you're not alone. And weird is kind of like whatever can be defined, but just the idea that I think for me, once I started hearing other people had my thoughts, like suicide and these other things, and problems with just adapting to life and getting along with other people and finding out where you fit in and what all that means, if it does mean anything. And it's just this feeling of like, once you hear other people sharing it, then you're like, oh yeah, I want to share it too. And so that's what I wanted to start. But anyway, why I'm down here tonight, it wasn't to go over an anniversary of something like that or anything like that, or talk about my son. I don't know how much I'm going to do that with you guys. We'll see. I'll say this, and I'll try not to cry, and that is that although I only had him for a few short years, in that short amount of time, he still was able to teach me how to be a better person. He was just so sweet. He really was. He was really kind. Always wanted to give people hugs. Strangers didn't matter. And just, he was always happy, So yeah, take that for what you will. Just like for me, it was just you better enjoy it while you have it, because you don't know. And speaking on something serious in a different way, and that is politics. And I've had people tell me that I shouldn't talk about politics, and I think that's because I struck a nerve, and I'm never trying to rile anyone up. I'm never trying to attack anyone personally, other than the actual politicians, which I think, I'll get into that in a minute. But as far as like your political leanings, I don't care. I really don't. Because here's the thing, this shit of being red or blue, we really got to stop. Like, I know it's this idea of being part of a team, and maybe you think the other is what is everything that it represents, what's bad with America, and somehow your side is everything that's good. Neither of which are true. I think if you're thinking about it for half a minute, if you live black or white, it's such an extreme. And I think the more you realize that even as much as you may think you live black or white, a lot of times and how life really works is in the gray area. That is the area of compromise, the area of understanding, and look, I'll say this. Something else I started thinking about. It was an attraction of mine to gain knowledge because I felt really stupid as a kid, and so what I've realized after gaining the minimal knowledge I have gained is that the more you know, the more you realize we as a human race, as of all the smart people you can think of combined and where we're at in society and all the things we've learned collectively, really shows that we don't know shit. Because there's so much we don't know. There's so many things we cannot answer, whether we attach God to it or aliens or, the rest of us are just like, well, hopefully someday we'll find out. Or maybe not. Maybe we're not supposed to. And this whole thing of supposed to, not supposed to, as far as like the journey of life, and those are all human constructs too, in my opinion. I don't think we're all meant to be here for a reason as far as a human race, or each individual has a proper meaning or value. Those types of things are human constructs. But I do know this: if you want your life to have meaning or value, just make it have meaning or value. Don't look for something to come get you. Just do shit that's meaningful and valuable. It's pretty basic. As far as like the other stuff, just spend some time and thought about it. That's my suggestion. Anyway, leaning back to politics. Look, the obvious, the storming of the Capitol. When was that? 2 weeks ago now. Yeah. It's just. Look, I'll say this: the individual. Well, depends on the individual, but most individuals are smart. Especially if you talk to them individually, you can find a common ground and go, okay, we have some level of intelligence and we can figure this thing out. But a mob of any group, of any sort, is stupid. Now, whether that be some of the BLM protesters that destroyed buildings and all that shit, now there was plenty of other BLM protesters that were peaceful, right? Same goes with the Trump protesters. There's plenty that broke laws and there's plenty that didn't. There, this idea of categorizing any said group as one thing is dangerous. It's bullshit. It's just for you. It doesn't actually accurately describe what is really going on. To say that all Trump supporters are one thing, or all Democrats are one thing, or this or that or whatever, that's ridiculous. It's unfair. To solve the political problem, wow. Because here's the thing: is like, do we really want to go to the civil war? Do we really want to hate the neighbor just because you're a blood or crip? Oh, excuse me, Republican or Democrat? Is that really where we want to go and who we want to be? Or is a smarter way to go, just questioning, just asking, would that be to maybe, I don't know, have a discussion with someone? Find a common ground maybe? Find out maybe where your flaws and your thoughts are? Because there are. I guarantee it. Because keeping an open mind is probably one of the best signs of an intelligent person. And anytime we get in those sound chambers that we only listen to people on our side of the aisle, the political aisle, it shows a fear of what you're committing to. It shows a fear that you, in my opinion, don't want certain things exposed, certain uncomfortable truths. It's the biggest problem is it's a game, and you're, I don't want to say this like you're unintelligent, because you're not, but you are being played when you're really caught up in the red or the blue. When you're really far left, really far right, you're definitely being played, because they took something that they knew was a moral value to you and they played off of that. Do they believe in it themselves? The politician, that is? What they're saying to you? No. But it gets your vote. It's like with the relationships. It's the same thing with politicians. Actions speak louder than words. So every time they run on a campaign, they lie their ass off. Then they get in the office. They don't do what they said they were going to do in their campaign at all. And then they come back around for re-election, and they say, oh yeah, it was just too much gridlock. The other side, it was all their fault. It wasn't me. I wanted it. When really, here's where I'll get to at least a solution. I've mentioned this before. Now, why would they change their minds once they get in? Is it because they played you from the onset? Yeah, maybe, probably, sort of, kind of, yeah. And do they also already have money given to them by campaign contributions, by lobbyists? And then once they get in, they might have to, I don't know, maybe do a little favor. Oh, no, they wouldn't do that, though, right? No. These are great, upstanding people. Politicians, I mean, they're our greatest citizens, right? They would never lie to you. No, that's not capable of their personality or their soul. They couldn't do that, right? So maybe, just maybe, we, like I said before, illegalize lobbyism. And I'm not talking about just get rid of lobbyists. I'm saying if you take money from a lobbyist, you go to jail. That's it. You get taken out of office, cannot rerun ever again. You're done. That's what needs to happen. Because lobbyism, when people tell me the arguments for it, really, you're just going, once again, the people that argue for it are pawns for the people that are lobbyists. It's like, oh yeah, they have your good nature in mind, but yeah, oh yeah, you need these other lobbyists to fight the bigger lobbyists. Or you could just end this shit. Maybe there's that. Got one more for you that I thought about recently. And it was kind of like to me, I mentioned it to someone else and they didn't think it was that great of an idea. Or not that it wasn't that great of an idea, it was just kind of like, Well, what it was is someone else was talking about football, NFL. And I don't follow it that much anymore. I mainly only watch motocross and supercross, UFC a little bit, but yeah, that's about it, other than documentaries and weird shit. Another burp. Yeah, I know, maybe somebody think it's disgusting, but I just don't give a fuck. I burp and I fart. I think most of you do too, and it's kind of funny to hear if you have a good sense of humor. I'm not trying to be gross, I'm just trying to be silly, but at the same time, I'm not silly right now. Sorry. But, so I'll get back to my political idea. I know you're kind of really hanging on the edge there. But that is that, how about this? So, the sports thing. I was listening to football guys talk about football anyway. And they were saying, about Tom Brady, really, but switch teams, all this bullshit. So it started me thinking. I was like, it's a really interesting thing about sports, that they did a good job, like the NFL, the NBA. I've never really followed baseball much, but is that they've been able to create parity. And how did they do that? How did they create parity in the leagues of the NFL and the NBA? Does anybody know? Salary caps. And why would they do that? Well, so that one team couldn't just outspend another team, buy all the best players all the time, and since they're winning all the time, they'll create more revenue, and they'll just keep that train rolling, right? Well, the thought was, cap each team how much they can spend, therefore it creates a certain amount of parity. Also, they have the draft, right? So the worst team in the league gets a first pick kind of stuff. That's kind of how it's supposed to work. Doesn't really much anymore, but whatever. Point being, what created a lot of parity was a salary cap. So it dawned on me. There it is. So how do we get fairer, more fair? not fairer, I don't know if that's a word, but more fair elections. Now, they're not going to be 100% fair, because there's always fuckery in everything that humans get involved in. It's just what we do. There's certain people that want to do it the right way, and there's other people that just, the only way they know is, not necessarily to cheat, but just to find, a loophole, or to compensate with their intelligence that somehow their body doesn't have, or something like that. But I'm getting off track. Really off track. So anyway, how would you create parity in elections and more fair elections? More fair elections would be to cap each campaign at a certain amount of money, right? Now, someone else said, the person I mentioned, she said, well, it's expensive for them to travel around the country, and they need to do that, especially for the presidential campaign, let's say. And I said, yeah, that's part of the problem, in my opinion. We don't need that shit. We don't need you coming to our town and pretending that you're our friend. Shake my hand and hold my baby and all that fucking shit. We know you're full of shit. We know you're just a cheerleader and this is all bullshit and you're just trying to buy our vote. Well, instead of kissing my ass like that, actually do something. There's the thought, and you'll get my vote, You shouldn't just give up your vote because someone came to your town and they wore a nice looking suit and they smelled good when they shook your hand or whatever. I guess you can't do that now. Bump elbows like a fucking retard. Sorry, I used the R word there. But really, does that matter? And that's part of the manipulation bullshit that politicians do. They come to your town, pretend to be your buddy. So then if someone doesn't come to your town, then you're not going to vote for them just because they didn't come to your town? Are you really that dumb? Really? Maybe that's why we have the political system we fucking have, right? Because shiny thing. Is that why? We like shiny shit? Fuck, man. So, cap, say the presidential election at $1 million. Some may say, wow, I don't know if that's enough. And others may say, that's a fuck ton of money. Like me. That's a lot of money to waste on a goddamn campaign. Hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Well, not every year, but hundreds of millions of dollars every 4 years for sure, but millions of dollars every year get wasted on campaigns across this country. But yet there's not enough money for healthcare? For national healthcare? Bullshit. Okay. So, here's something. If we were to cap, say even the mayor, at 10 grand. Okay. Now, what is the penalty for going over the cap? Well, we can decide as a public. We can give you a little leeway. Say 3% of any campaign. So if it's a $10,000 campaign, 3% of $10,000, that's the amount you're allowed to go over the $10,000. And so what do we do if you're a penny over? Because we know that once we give these campaign fucks a little bit of a leeway, they're going to bump it to the very edge. And some of them are just going to go over and just to see if you're paying attention. So what are we going to do as the deciders, as W would say, what to do with that? Well, immediately say, you're done. Once you violate this rule, you're out. Bye. Ooh, is that too strict? That they can't follow a fucking rule? That they can't have a little bit of leeway, and then once they go over that they're kicked out? Why not? Let's make it fair. What is everyone so afraid of if we were to make this thing fair? Oh, maybe not the general public is afraid of something like this, my idea. Guarantee every single fucking politician that is elected right now is afraid of that idea. Every single politician that has a revolving door from the time they don't get elected, they go back to these private corporations, work for them, maybe the same ones that maybe gave them lobbying money the last time they got elected, just maybe. They go work for them, then the next election comes back around in a couple of years and they run again, they somehow get elected. Do you think they have ties to that company? No. gosh, they wouldn't do something like that. That'd be shady as shit, right? Goodness gracious, they wouldn't do that, would they? No, but they've been doing that forever, though. You just don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's some of my solutions. They're not really solutions, they're just ideas. But, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to say something. I have a bunch of other shit I wanted to talk about, but at the same time, I just don't want to keep you guys long. It seems like everyone's ADD'd out nowadays, and they can only hang on for so long or watch something for so long, and I think I'm probably guilty of it too. So, on that note, this is Chet. This has been BCNDC, and I used to have a tagline. I don't have one anymore. You see the balls hanging behind me? That's pretty cool, right? Halloween costume years back. I had some saggy balls. They're getting there on their own now. Gravity has a way of doing that shit. That's a good way to do it.